What's next is, of course, we're talking about retirement plans. But before we get into it, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys, who are watching, probably are around our age. You're not thinking about retiring just as yet. But as a working woman, that is something I look forward to.
Definitely.
In another 40 more years. Wait. 29, retirement age is about 60.
We might not want to
30 more
mention
years.
it, yeah.
30 more years. But again, those of you guys who do have parents, especially you guys have uncles and aunties who are slightly older, they probably have set you down and be like, hey, you need to retire this age, and then you have to have your financial planning, you have to this. Yeah, your KWSP and da. But to us, we're like, what? What does that all mean? What does retiring actually mean to you? But before we get into that, I want to ask you, when you retire, what is your plan?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Actually, the only plan I have, okay, to be honest, I'm I'm quite young. So to have to think about retirement, I would say I'm not there yet. Or the modern way, you know how people like to say it, financial freedom is having to retire, right? So I would say I'm not exactly there yet, and I don't have a proper plan as to when I would get there. But definitely the one plan that I have, and I think most of us have it, is when we retire, is the only thing I want to do is have to travel.
Yes,
That's the only thing I want to do.
Yes, but is that, a dream or a reality? Whether or not you can achieve that, we're going to be speaking to the Chief Executive Officer of Brew, which stands for, renewal, all the very good Brew, all the, what else were you talking about?
Renew, rejuvenate, restore, rehabilitate, refresh.
Yes. I love it. And U stands for you, the client.
That's right.
There we have it.
I love it. That's an amazing branding strategy.
Exactly.
So, Anna, we talked about retirement, and we know as well, as Zoe mentioned earlier, that the mandatory retirement age, or like the official retirement age, is usually at the age of 60. And according to this Malaysian Reserve, majority of the people, according to a survey that they did, they're unsure as to how to achieve financial independence, or in order for them to retire early. And a survey that I had read about, 25% referred to financial consultants to plan out their whole retirement plan and savings and investments, and in terms of financial planning as well. And actually, I have to talk about one thing that my sister and I had a conversation about, where we had this story where she told me that she had a friend who decided to retire just 1 year before her official retirement age, just because she couldn't handle the stress of work. But that's a totally different topic. We're going to be talking about the realities of retirement with our wonderful guest here, Anna Chew. So the best age of retirement, actually talking about it, achieving financial freedom, as we mentioned before, is quite subjective. How can we best review things in light of our goals to retire?
I think, as you mentioned, it's an expensive thing,
right?
To not earn and to continue to actually live your life, right? So I think financial planning is very, very crucial in when you retire. So in a lot of countries nowadays, I think we see people retiring later and later. Malaysia also has some programs that encourages the older ones to come back to work because they have a lot of experience to give, and they I think it's also a mental state of mind when you are ready to retire. If you can still continue working, you feel young and fresh, I think you should continue to. It gives your life meaning as well. And I think a very important point you brought up, which is stress. Are you ill? Are you very stressed out by work? Maybe it's time to take a break from, working all the way. I think I started work at 20. We mentioned that earlier. Can you imagine by the time you get to the age, you're like, my God, I've been working for a very, very long time, right?
Yeah, even like I've been only working for 10 years. I already feel like I've been working for a really long time, and I've not
10 years is a long time.
10 years is a very, very long time, but not the time, where I need to retire just as yet. But we do have artists, Malaysian artists like Ultimate, who retired. Of course, he comes back in and out, but he retires from performing at quite a young age. If I'm not mistaken, he's around his 40s when he decided to retire from one particular job. We also have, artists like Jay-Z, who, announced his retirement and then he came back, and so on and so forth. So you have the option of retiring whenever, right? What are the pros and cons of retiring early, or deciding to, I'm done with work, I'm good, I'm solid, I have my money set, let me just chill and kick back and relax. So what are the pros and cons of that?
So I think money is super, super important. Retiring early when you don't have enough is not going to carry you through very far. I think we have to realize that as we age, we get less and less independent in life. And when you get less independent, it's going to be very, very costly. So firstly, make sure you're very, very super healthy, watch your diet, also your mind is very important. I think we talk a lot about mental health nowadays.
Yep.
Are you in a state of mind that prepares you for retirement? A lot of times people go through it, they work so hard. By the time they stop, they don't know what to do with their time. So I think a lot of pre-planning is required, and that's a bit of a con if you're not ready for it, to be honest.
Right.
In that financial state of mind, when you're forced to retire early, because even my father-in-law, he's not ready to retire. He's not necessarily ready to retire, but because he's coming to the age where his work requires him to retire. So if you're in that in-between state of mind where I have to retire because it's a requirement, but I still want to work. What advice do you have for adults who are facing this situation? I don't know what to do. For example, for us, we've been hosting for probably at that point like 30 plus years, but we still want to work. What steps should we take if we're in that state of mind?
I think try to discover if there's something, that you can do part-time, maybe volunteer. A lot of times people talk about volunteering, giving back. I think having a meaningful life as you age is super, super important, So you got to do something of meaning. Or also maybe try out retirement life on weekends when you're not working, see what it's like, see how you fill your time. Does it fulfill you as well? Start to get together with friends, plan ahead with people of your age, at least you have some friends to retire with, do meaningful things with. And I think plan out, like you said, traveling is very, very important. I think you got to save up for that and things like that.
Right. I like how you mentioned that about your father-in-law, and it's something that I can relate to because my father is quite a workaholic.
Yeah.
So him at an old age having to retire is something that he feels like he couldn't really do.
Yeah.
But he had to, but he's quite active now since he's retired, of course. But he's really active now, having to do work at home and help out as well. So actually, when you mentioned, Anna, about mindset earlier, so mindset does go a long way. So from your point of view, what are some of the common mistakes what Malaysians would do in the stage of retirement?
A lot of them don't plan to have a proper life. They retire. I know someone, yes. So he retired and he didn't know what to do. And he took the bus every morning and went down to town, had kopi, and then, came back. And literally that was his life. And after a while, he actually fell ill because it didn't have any meaning. He didn't know what to do. He didn't have people to hang out with, So I think just filling the time productively is very, very important.
Right.
Okay, thinking about it,
I agree though. I want to bring up this point because we're talking about people who are retiring. But as you said, if you're not properly planning your retirement, you don't have a saving set. Probably you do, but it's probably not enough. And I know a lot of Malaysian parents, just not generally, but I have heard that, when I retire, I'm going to depend on my kids to support me. That kind of mental state of mind where, that's the point of me having children, is that one day they will take care of me. But the reality sometimes is not that, right? So for people or for children who, like Erin and myself, have parents who are retiring, how about us? What do we need to do to help prepare our parents or prepare adults, when they retire? What do we need to do? Do we need to be, basically what I'm asking here, do we need to be aware? Do we need to be alert? Do we need to have an additional plan for them when they retire? Or can we just be like, Mapa, let's go for a holiday? That kind of thinking.
I think it's good to sit with them, to have certain expectations, because when their time is not filled, if they expect you to fill it, then you have to be quite ready to prepare your time to spend with them as well, right? But I think it's healthier that they have their own people. They see them going through the same thing with people of their age group. Maybe find a hobby, go do line dancing with aunties in the park. Who knows, right? I mean, do something meaningful. And then, of course, that's the financial aspect of it. A lot lot of times they've worked because they are trying to accumulate,
Yep.
their wealth in order to manage the rest of their retirement. I think speak to them, maybe give them some comfort about what expectations are, that if you are doing well, of course, that really, really helps. They don't have to think about trying to, take care of their kids at the same time after a certain while. So all their savings is actually parked with them and they can plan it accordingly.
Alright.
Okay,
Awesome.
right. I think that's something that we have to consider as well. Savings,
Yes.
not only just for us, but of course for our parents as well. And talking about all this, since I'm also since we're so young, we were not actually looking forward to achieve financial freedom. I'm not looking forward to. It's like we couldn't yet to achieve financial freedom just yet. But having to talk about yourself, I'm from Ryu Living. Is it? Ryu Living.
Rejuvenation, renewal,
refresh.
retirement.
And for you. So actually at Ryu Living, what retirement is it like at Ryu Living? And can you maybe tell us some of the kind of services that you offer there?
Okay, so retirement is actually a lifestyle. I think people have to realize that a lot of time we say we want to retire and go on a cruise, right? Go travel.
Yeah. Like how I mentioned.
Yeah, exactly, right? Stay in a hotel, everything's taken care of. So at a certain age, you have to understand that you cannot do a lot of things. It's partly aging. It's either you age well or you age with an illness, right? And what happens is a lot of times we see people who are slightly more senior trying to continue to stay at home, and what happens is one day you catch your maybe even grandpa trying to change the light bulb, and that's not very, very safe. So what we do with retirement living as a lifestyle is we make sure it's a maintenance-free, fuss-free lifestyle. Anything breaks down, all is taken care of. Your oven, your kitchen breaks down as a pipe burst, and things like that. You don't have to take care of it. So part of that is having everything taken care of in Ryu Living. We also prep all your meals, so all your meals are provided, and you stay in a 5-star hotel, so it's very nice, it's comfortable, it's luxurious. I think for certain people who have gone through a certain lifestyle in life, why is it that you have to taper down at the end, So I think we have to rethink how we retire. It's not as simple as staying in an apartment, or staying in an apartment that has grab rails and things like that, because the product cannot take care of you. Your services you need, sometimes you need medical care, sometimes you need to have friends around, and you don't always have that, and that's what it does. There's a community there for you to age together.
I love it. I love that you mentioned about community, because I was about to ask that. What are some of the communal or community activities that Ryu Living offers for those of you guys who are watching and who are thinking of, staying over? Because the minute I heard 5-star hotel, okay,
5-star hotel,
I'm
we are
getting a
in.
room.
We can start planning after this.
Totally in,
So one of the community activities that you guys provide for our fellow retirees.
Okay, so we focus on 4 things, which is physical, and then there's mental and cognitive, and there's emotive and psychosocial. So part of psychosocial is the fact that we built a very nice place. It's like a 5-star clubhouse where they can gather, they chat with each other, eat together, dine together, do activities together, whether it's line dancing, it's, chair yoga, things like that. So Scrabble and bingo nights are very, very popular.
That's so
I
nice.
love
It's
it.
like your own, like how you mentioned your own community, like a mini town.
Exactly.
That's so cute.
Exactly. So how can they check out Ryu Living if they want to come and register or even come and visit?
Go to our website, it's Reu, R-E-U, living.com, or call us on our hotline. All info available on the website.
Wow,
Right.
thank you so much. And it was a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
I really love, I have to mention it again, I really love your branding strategy, the refresh and rejuvenate.
Renewal.
It's refreshing to hear as well.
Exactly.
So thank you so much, Anna. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So again, guys, don't forget to check out Ryu Living if you guys are thinking of retiring, or if you want to have some advice, you want to join some community. Again, very, very important for you to plan your retirement.